Hi, welcome back to the next move with Valetax. My name is Innocent Ifere, educator for Africa, market analyst and trading content specialist here at Valetax. On this week's outlook, we're going to be sharing trade ideas on a few pairs and also looking at the fundamentals that could be influencing or directing the movement of the markets. But before we get started, let's do a quick recap of the trade ideas shared last week and see how they played out. On last week's trade idea on the XAUUSD, we did in fact speculate a possible hold of the XAUUSD at the 3,700 levels and a possibility of prices staying below those levels and a possible correction to the downside. But prices did in fact break through the 3,700 levels and created a new all-time high at 3,780 levels, with prices closing just around 3,763 levels. And on the outlook for GBPJPY, we did speculate a possible bullish correction before the bears come back into the market after we saw the shift in structure. Although prices did move in the direction of the buy sides, we're yet to see the sells, with prices currently at the 200.500 level anticipating price action. And for this week, we're going to be sharing trade ideas on the following pairs: the XAUUSD, the GBPJPY, and the Nasdaq 100, keeping it very simple and very informative. On the XAUUSD for this week, we see price already creating all-time highs at the 3,780 levels. XAUUSD does hold an intraday key level at the 3,755 levels, with prices presently above those levels and coming for a possible retest. If prices close below the 3,755 levels, we might see prices head back to the 3,700 levels for a full retest. But if prices stay above these levels, we might continue to see bullish interactions for a new all-time high on the XAUUSD. And on the pound yen, we did in fact see prices close at the supply level speculated last week at the 200.5 levels. We do expect to see bearish price action and momentum at these levels in order for prices to start to continue to move to the downside bearishly. But a close above the 200.5 levels could start to signal continuation of bullish momentum on the GBPJPY. And lastly, for the Nasdaq or NAS 100, we did see the Nasdaq 100 fulfill its correction and a break out of its correction wedge last week, with prices breaking and retesting the intraday key levels at the 24,500 levels and closing above it on Friday. This signals that buyers are back into the market to continue the bullish rally to the upside. Technical analysis are highlighters of the market overall on the charts, but without fundamental analysis, we can't fully say we have an outlook. And here are possible fundamentals and high impact news that could be affecting or influencing the direction of this mentioned pairs for the week. On Tuesday, we have the job opening reports for the USD. On Wednesday, we have the manufacturing PMI. On Thursday, we do have the unemployment claims. And on Friday, we have the governor of the Bank of Japan, Ueda, and the governor of the Bank of England, Bailey, speaking. And it's NFP Friday. Remember to trade carefully and trade safely and trade with Valetax. The summary for this week's trade idea is a possible bullish continuation on the XAUUSD, possible bearish price action to signify and indicate more bearishness for the GBPJPY, and continuation for the buy sides on the Nasdaq 100. And remember, this is not a trading signal, but only a trade idea with no guarantee for success. Always do your own research and apply risk management on every trade that you take. And I'll see you next week on the next move with Valetax. Stay tuned, trade carefully, and trade with Valetax.